The really fascinating things about cats and dogs is that they've been with us for thousands of years. Cats have been with us for about 10,000 years, dogs for somewhere between 15 and 30,000 years. But for the vast majority of that time, they haven't been considered property. They've been considered so, at least from a legal standpoint, so worthless that they don't even qualify as property.
Hey, Wolf, look who's here. Hey, Wolf.
What's a dog's love worth? It depends when you're asking the question. When it's alive, a dog's love is priceless.
How many things do you have in your life that you would spend thousands more to maintain than to replace?
Pets are irreplaceable and priceless. It's a big message from veterinarians and drug makers. Celebrate the bond. That's what Eli Lilly's pet division, Elanco, tells pet owners in an emotional marketing campaign wrapped around trifexas.
What does my dog mean to me?
What does my dog mean to me?
They mean a lot to me.
There's like a special place that she fills.
They're the calm in the storm.
My dog means the world to me.
There's a reason drug makers promote the bond. People spend about twice as much on health care for their pets if they consider them members of the family instead of just property.
She tells stories like, let's go to the dog park, I really want to go, it's time for us to go, it's 3 o'clock.
Everybody talks to their animals. You know, we did a study, we found that 97% of people talk to their dogs. And we are convinced that the other 3% lied. Lyndon Johnson supposedly got more mail for the way he picked up his 2 beagles, you know, by their ears, than he got for the Vietnam War. Now, I don't really think that's true. But the very fact that people even think it's true is interesting. So we have this tremendous dichotomy.
The human-animal bond is like those credit card company commercials. It's priceless.
But what's your pet worth if it dies? In the eyes of the law, almost nothing. Pets are just property, like cars or toasters. And if you try to sue for emotional distress, good luck. Your case is likely to get thrown out of court.
And it's difficult in any cases where you're trying to value emotional distress to put a dollar figure on it. That in and of itself doesn't mean you shouldn't do it as a court system. We do it for human-human relationships sometimes if they're very close.
The same groups that are pushing for you to spend more on your pet when it's alive are fighting efforts that would allow you to recover more than replacement value if your pet dies due to malpractice or unsafe medicine.
As far as the legal status of the animals, the AVME does not see animals on the same plane as humans. I don't think there's any disputing of the human-animal bond. It's something we recognize and we acknowledge. Having said that, we're not ready to take the next step, however, and say that because a lot of Americans believe that, or see, that pets are part of the family, well, let's go out and change the liability system and increase liability for veterinarians and other animal care providers. I think that's going to a different place.
But some critics say that with liability limits kept so low, companies will not be held accountable for bad actions.
The people that are pushing for more rights for these animals aren't really trying to give them the right to vote or the right to drive. They're looking for some basic rights, perhaps the right to some basic medical care, the right to be free from cruelty. But even that's a bridge too far for a lot of critics who say that only humans can have rights, animals can't have rights. If we give rights to cats and dogs, we're going to see things like these big veterinary malpractice lawsuits. We're going to see things like if you don't walk your dog enough or you don't spring for your cat's chemotherapy, maybe a sort of pet protective services is going to show up at your house and take your pet away like they might for your child. So you have some very strong voices on both sides of this debate.